Hello and welcome to my humble kitchen. I'm Chef Amy Symington. Thank you so much for joining me today. So if you're not familiar with me, I am the culinary specialist for HSI Canada. I'm also a nutrition professor, researcher, and chef here in Toronto. And I'm also the author of the Long Table Cookbook, Plant-Based Recipes for Optimal Health. So as a culinary specialist for HSI Canada, I'm part of the Forward Food team, which is an amazing small but mighty team that helps large food operations businesses get more plant-based items on their menu through things like recipe and menu development, culinary demonstrations, and workshops. And the best part is it's all free. So it's a wonderful place to work. And today I'm just going to demo for you a couple recipes actually from my cookbook, the Long Table Cookbook. And don't be fooled, we're actually not cooking today. If you did tune into the Facebook page, you know that I'm going to be making some no heat eats and treats. So it is the summer months. We don't want to turn our oven on if we can help it. And so today I'm going to show you how to make two really easy, fast recipes, both absolutely delicious, flavorful, and a couple of my favorites. The first is a matcha mint chocolate chip shake. So delicious. It's as good as it sounds. And I'm also going to be making my raw pad thai salad for you today. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. So we'll turn over to my my cutting board here. In terms of recipes, they're all in the cookbook. There's cooked foods in there as well, but these two are perfect for, as I said, the summer months. Recipes are also going to be shared on the HSI, Friends of HSI Canada website, so check that out after. So first and foremost, we want cold fruit in our smoothies, particularly when it's blazing hot outside. Bananas are a great one. They add a lot of fiber, prebiotics in particular, and are really nice and sweet, so they add a nice sweetness. So we're going to add 3 frozen bananas. I mean, you could really use any fruit. Peaches are in season right now, so if you had some frozen peaches, that would be lovely too. Okay, and we've got about 2 cups of, I'm using soy milk today, any milk that you like, oat milk, rice milk, whatever you happen to have on hand works. I like the soy because it is a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids that our body requires. It's also great to have more protein, particularly in the morning, because it keeps you fuller for longer. Okay, it also keeps your blood sugar levels even. We're also going to be adding, you guessed it, some fresh mint. So this is about a 1/2 cup. Throw that in. That's from my garden. Okay, and we'll be adding some vanilla. It's about a 1/2 tablespoon. If you don't have vanilla on hand, or if it's too expensive, which it can be, you can omit it, not a big deal. This just kind of makes it taste a little bit like a milkshake. So that, and then I'm going to be adding a little bit of maple syrup for sweetness. Now, if your bananas are super ripe, you can omit the maple syrup. Mine were a little bit on the greener side, which is great because it contains, again, more of that prebiotic inulin fiber in particular that helps, with a variety of different things, digestion, absorbing vitamins and minerals, keeping things moving. But because they're a little bit more green, they're not as sweet, obviously. So I'm going to add a little bit of maple syrup. And then, of course, matcha, which is just green tea powder, really powerful antioxidant, great for all sorts of things, particularly an anti-inflammatory diet, which reduces your risk of chronic disease. So great, and it tastes great too. It gives you kind of a little boost of energy with a little bit of caffeine. Not the same as coffee, though. It's a little bit more even. It's not, spike that rush you feel from coffee. It's a little bit more kind of even, sedated. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding some cacao nibs. I'm going to save some for garnish, though, to put on top. It's always nice. And this is the part that, gives that chocolate chip. But cacao nibs in particular are very high in antioxidants, polyphenols in particular, and are just so tasty. Okay, so we've got everything in there. Now we're just going to zhuzh it up and pour it. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute. You want to make sure that all of the leaves are fully blended. There's nothing worse than in a smoothie having little bits of green that you then get stuck in your teeth. Okay, Beautiful. Okay, all done. You can have a peek at what that looks like blended. Now, if you wanted a more bright green, you could leave the cacao nibs out and add them afterwards, just kind of at the end, and give it just a couple pulses. That would be fine too. I like mine fully blended in. I don't mind the color. You can see that there. Isn't that nice? Okay. And then you just pour it into a glass. The amount that I made makes about 3 servings. The recipe you'll see that's posted makes 6 servings. You can just have it if you don't have that many people in your household, or you could put it into popsicles. You could make a chia pudding with it by adding a little bit of chia seeds to a mason jar, shaking it up and tossing it in the fridge. Or this will keep for 1 to 2 days too, so you can have it for the next day as well. Okay, there you have it. And then just a little bit of garnish, obviously. Nice big mint leaf, and then a little bit of cacao on top, some of the cacao nibs. Beautiful. Okay, so that's our first recipe. Done. Check. Easy peasy. We'll set you to the side. Next up, we're going to be doing my favorite raw pad thai salad. So you guessed it, everything is raw. So we start off with, honestly, any vegetables that you have on hand will work. I like zucchinis, carrots, peppers, broccoli. Oftentimes, they're vegetables that you will find in a cooked pad thai. The zucchini and the carrots we have kind of spiralized. If you don't have a spiralizer, that's totally fine. You can use a vegetable peeler and just peel really big ribbons. And then I would recommend leaving kind of the center of the zucchini out, because sometimes it releases water and if you're making it ahead of time, then it might be a little bit more watery. So leave that center with the seeds kind of out. But really any vegetables will work, whatever you happen to have on hand. I like these ones though, these are good ones. Okay, so we've got that all assembled. You can see, I'll show you actually how to do it with the vegetable peeler. So we'll bring out the dressing ingredients now. Okay, so I've got about a 1/4 cup of water, a couple tablespoons of tamarind puree, a couple tablespoons of maple syrup, a lime, some almond butter, whatever butter you happen to have on hand is fine. You could use peanut as well. And then for garnish, we're going to use some toasted almonds, green onions, basil as well, which I have up here, and then cilantro. Okay, so I'll show you with a peeler how you do the zucchini. Super easy. Okay, now this peeler you can see kind of has teeth on it, and it will cut and kind of make julienne strips for you. But if you had just a regular peeler, it's totally fine. You just do smaller kind of long pieces, long ribbons. Okay, but this one is kind of fun because it does it for you, as you can see. Carrots, again, whatever you happen to have. Beets would be also nice in this too. You can see. Yeah, but there's so many spiralizers. The one I used for the zucchini here was just a hand one that you literally twist. Doesn't that look pretty? These are great if you're doing any sort of fresh noodle salad. I love noodles though, so you can use noodles and or zucchini, whichever your preference. Okay, so that's how you make the noodles. Check, done that. And then everything else, we literally just put into a mason jar, and or you could put it into a bowl and whisk all the ingredients together, whichever you prefer, whichever you happen to have on hand. I like the mason jar because if you don't use all the dressings, you can just, or all of the dressing, you can just put it into the fridge and save it for later. Okay, so got as I mentioned, 1/4 cup of water there. Adding our tamarind paste. Adding our maple syrup. Adding our almond butter. Okay, and then we'll add our lime zest and juice. Okay. So one trick when you're using limes and lemons to get the juices flowing and break down some of those membranes, just roll it on the table. I always recommend keeping your citrus fruit at room temperature for that reason. So it's a lot easier to juice them. Okay, but of course, we don't want to waste that zest. That's where a lot of the flavor comes from. And if you have a recipe that doesn't call for the zest, but it calls for the juice, zest it anyways. Toss it into a reusable bag and put it in your freezer. And you can use it in cakes, cookies, muffins, smoothies to give an oomph of flavor without added salt, sugar, or unhealthy fats. It's such a good flavor enhancer. Okay. Try and get all those goodies. Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. Now we will cut this in half and juice it. So I have a juicer. I mean, you can use anything, reamer, your hands, a spoon, whatever you happen to have on hand. Obviously making sure your hands are clean first. Limes, citrus fruit is so great at adding, again, an oomph of flavor. Also rich in vitamin C, which is an antioxidant, which is great for an anti-inflammatory diet, reducing all the chronic diseases and preventing scurvy. Okay, so I've done that. Great. Juiced, and then we just pour that in. Like my juicer, this is my grandmother's from I don't know how long ago. Throw that in there. Boom. And then all you do after that is put the lid on. Nice and secure. Make sure it is nice and secure. And then you shake, 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 shake. Or again, if it was in a bowl, you would whisk, 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 whisk to get all those lumps out of the almond butter or the peanut butter or whatever butter you're using. Sunflower butter would work really nice if you have a nut allergy. Give this to your kids, shake it up for you. Brilliant, okay. And then if you were to eat the salad now, or if you wanted to serve it now, you would dress it now and then add all the garnishes. So we'll add a little bit now, because it is lunchtime. Almond butter, so great. Just adds a really nice mouthfeel, rich in vitamin E. Okay, and as I said, I've made extra, so I will just put that in the fridge for later. Now we'll add our garnish, some toasted almonds. If you were using peanut butter, I would use peanuts. If you're using sunflower seed butter, I would use sunflower seeds. You get the gist. And some green onions. Great, and a bit of cilantro. Whatever you happen to have on hand in terms of herbs. Cilantro is always a great one for pad thai, obviously. And I'm going to add a couple leaves of basil as well. I'll show you how to chiffonade here. So all you do is you lay your basil leaves one on top of the other. And then you roll. Roll, 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 and then you slice thin slices. Tip to heel with your knife, keeping that pincer grasp like this, the claw, so you're not getting your fingers there. And then we're breaking these apart. Just kind of like this. Beautiful. These would be nice mixed in with the noodles too, if you wanted it throughout. However you honestly want to do it. There's no wrong way to make this salad, to be honest. The assembly, I'll leave it up to you. You have creative freedom. There you go. I'm going to throw a couple more almonds on there because I love them. Adds a nice crunch, different texture. The great thing about this salad too is that it has so much texture. It's so juicy and so also satiating at the same time because of the nuts and the dressing. Okay, so there we have it. We have our raw pad thai. We have our matcha mint chocolate chip shake in under 15 minutes. Of course, there'll be a little bit more prep, but these are great options for, you know, if you're not wanting to turn your oven on because it's super hot, totally understandable. And you can still have really stodgy, stick to your ribs, satiating meal options without having to heat up your kitchen. But thanks so much for joining me today. If you're looking for more delicious plant-based recipes, please go to our Friends of HSI website. Yeah, and I hope to see you next culinary demonstration. In the meantime, take very good care. Thanks so much.